7 o'clock. Pledge allegiance. Chief Campbell, when you get up, will you lead us, please?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Beth.
Councilman Paul?
Here.
Councilman Fallon?
Here.
Councilman Ando?
Here.
Councilman Stein?
Here.
Vice President Bodadian?
Here.
President Engel?
Here. Okay, we have no speakers, so, Mayor?
No, thank you. I have a couple of things I'd like to talk about today. First off, I'll just start, and I have a couple of things I want to pass out to councilmen and the public. So, I missed last council meeting. I was away on vacation, and the meeting before, I was doing physical therapy. My back has been out for the last probably 6-8 weeks. Happy to say that my back is getting much better. At one of the last meetings that I missed, there was talk about merging the boroughs. And I want to speak on that. Our boroughs are already working hand in hand with Homestead, West Homestead communities. And Chief, you can intervene. Does West Mifflin back our police force up as well?
Oh, yeah.
So they do.
We have a mutual aid agreement with all municipalities that surround us.
Good. So we already have those services merged. There was a fire on Cambria Street here last week. I can't tell you how many fire trucks were at that phone call, at that fire call. There had to be 10 trucks there. Chief, were you there?
Wasn't there, but I know who was there.
How many different services were there?
Munhall Fire Companies were there, Homestead was there as the writ, and there was a mistake on the run card. Brad got dispatched by accident.
I think there were several others.
That's the only units from out of town in Munhall that was there. There may have been, but those are the only ones that were dispatched.
I think there were several others that were there. Anyway, that's not what's in question. What I'm just speaking to is we are backing each other's communities up, hand in hand, and work together. Homestead, Munhall, West Homestead, West Mifflin, Braddock, absolutely. Our EMS is already merged together. I think merging the boroughs would be a big undertaking. It would be very hard to do, and I certainly think in the near future it could be talked about. It wouldn't be not to be talked about, but I certainly don't think it would be in the best interest of Munhall to merge with any other community. Number two, I'd like to talk about the budget. The budget is coming up. We need to sit down and have budget meetings. We need to have the public invited to the public meetings. They are public meetings. The public should be invited to these meetings. Going over some numbers on the Willis Center, I just went over some numbers. Joe had them printed out for me. We're probably close to $7 million. Would you say somewhere around there? Pretty close to that.
Yes.
So that's where we're at with that building. Where we're going to be at the end of the year, I still haven't gotten a firm answer on where we're going to be at, but we're going to be probably pretty much break even, probably.
Correct.
So we're going to be just about break even. So that's why you're seeing us applying for a TAN loan, because that TAN loan bridges us over until the tax comes in next year. So it's going to be important for us to look at where we're going to be, the costs we're going to have, and what we're going to have to do. If we have to raise taxes next year, we're going to have to do that. And certainly, I'm not saying it's anyone's fault, but we need to be prepared on what we're going to have to do for next year. Certainly, the numbers are showing that we're going to have to probably raise taxes. What that number will be, I don't know. It's a hard pill to swallow, but certainly I think we're going to have to look at that. Thirdly, I'd like to talk about the policing of Munhall. And Chief, I have not had a chance to speak with you about any of this, but certainly if you have anything to put in after I'm done, I'd like you to speak as well. So let me pass some of this out, because I've been working on this. Chief, I just showed you this, so you can look at that if you like as well. This is just a printout, and this is just a random printout from yesterday. And this is just one police car. And I've heard many people talk that the police are not policing all of Munhall. We'll put these. You can share that one. These are for the, well, there's one for the public if you want to pass it out. If any of you guys don't want them and you want to pass them around, you can. I have the corresponding calls from all those little blips that you see on there. So the little blips are the police cars traveling yesterday. That's one car traveled throughout the borough. And that was yesterday. And if you look at the chart, and I don't know if you guys will, I'll get one passed around to all of you. It shows pretty evidently that that police car traveled throughout the whole borough. And there's no one else knew about me getting this except the dispatcher who printed that for me this afternoon. I also had him print out the calls that came from the last month. These are all the calls that came in from the last month. And I'm not going over every one of them and talking about them all, but I got to tell you, the red is for below 22nd Avenue and Ravine Street and the garden plan. The blue is for above 22nd Avenue. And looking through them, there are more red calls than blue calls. So for anyone to say that Munhall police are not patrolling and servicing we'll call it the north end of Munhall and Ravine Street and the Munhall garden plan is not true. It's not a true statement. The facts are the calls that come in and the patrolling of the cars clearly show that they're patrolling all of the town. Not any one in particular portion of the town, but the entire town. That being evident, we did have a shooting on 13th Avenue, and it was showed at the end of the meeting. One of the residents brought it to my attention that the shooting occurred. When the shooting occurred, the chief called me and I spoke to me directly. He was going down on scene. He was down there when that happened, on the scene, and he was in contact with me, telling me what was going on. As with any shooting, anything that happens in the town, the chief and I are in constant contact. So I am working with the chief at all times, and the police department. So, and I believe, I'm not sure how many people were arrested. I'm hoping the chief can tell me that if we arrested anyone for that crime. But from what I've been told, that these people laid in wait for this person and shot this person. Whether that's true or not, I'm not sure. I don't really want to talk about personal things that have happened in the town, and I generally don't. But I am informed about all the major crimes that happen in the town. So, that being said, the police cannot be everywhere at all times. It physically can't happen. They have to be patrolling all the time. And a policeman is not, his duty is not there to be there for certain instances. He has to protect the whole town. Now, we have had certain cases where we have put extra details in other areas where there are problem bars and problem areas. And that's arisen from public input coming to the police department. So therefore, I'm asking all of Munhall citizens to please, if you see crime happening, please call the police. If you see something happening out of queue, please call the police. That's the only way that crime can be stopped. Furthermore, I spoke with Officer Boney, and Chief, you don't know about this, I spoke with him today, and we're going to start a program. We want to have a town hall meeting, and I'd like to have the first town hall meeting at number 1 Fire Hall. Mr. Vodadine, you're the president down there. I'd like to do that and have the police department there. and invite the public to come to the fire hall and speak about any problems that they'd like to bring to our attention, or speak about anything that they have down there. Not only there would I like to have one, but I'd like to start there, and then I would like to start at number 4 fire hall and have another one there. And get the police and the public together so that they can speak. I think that's a first step into doing that. Secondly, I'd like to start a crime watch program again. It needs to happen in the neighborhoods. The people in the neighborhoods need to be gathered together, and they need to know their neighbors, and they need to work together again. And I'm gonna work with the chief and try to get that started again. I know that it had been a good, successful program in the past, and I think we need to try and organize the citizens of our town to do that. Thirdly and lastly, I'd like to talk about the girls soccer team and the boys football team. They both are having outstanding seasons. We need to bring them in next month and congratulate them and hopefully that they go on to win state championships. They lost last night? Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, 2-1.
Oh, that's terrible. I didn't know. Wow. Who'd they lose to?
Greensburg Central.
Oh, they had an outstanding season.
Yeah.
And we're going to bring them in and celebrate their victories. And I want us to do that next council meeting. So we'll have to do that. I don't know, maybe we'll do one at the workshop and we'll do one at the regular council meeting. Or we can do them both together. We'll discuss that, how we want to do it. That needs to be done. Also, I spoke with Officer Bowman today. The Munhall Police Department is going to be starting a food drive. It's going to go out to the businesses and people who want to donate. We're not going to be actually looking for actual food. We're going to be looking for donations, and we're going to pinpoint several families throughout the borough that are in need, and we're going to get food. What are they? Food cards or
Gift cards.
Gift cards, right? For those families, that'll be a good project for the police to do, and they're all ready and gung-ho to do it. And that's all I have.
Mayor, just want to, let you know, the ideas, are great, but I want to work with you on these too.
Good, you're welcome.
So, it's coming in.
Everyone is welcome to join in and be a part of this. I'm going to start it, and certainly,
The Crown Watch, the town hall meetings, I don't know when you plan on starting in December or
well, I think we should do it, I think we need to do one in December,
and then monthly.
and then we'll do one next, at number 4. Just for crime. This is going to be a crime town hall, policing Munhall. And that's what I call it, policing Munhall. Because it's not just one area that we're policing, we're in the whole area, and if everyone got to look at that, that's just one caption of one car. We have 2 other cars that have that, and I think 1 car doesn't have it.
There's one that's not working. There's 2 that are off on that.
Okay. So,
You think maybe it would be a better idea to have them after the holidays or with the people shopping and stuff like that? I don't know, I'm just,
I think if we do one in early December, I can't see it hurting.
okay.
So I wanted to bring that up to you. I didn't have a chance to call you and speak to you about it, but I certainly am speaking to you about it now. So, if you want to set a date, we can do that. I'd be more than happy to work with it.
You set a date, just let me know and I'll do the rest.
Okay, very good. That's all I have.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I have some ongoing litigation matters, which of course I don't report to here, and I update council when we hit any significant changes on those issues throughout the month. It's nothing significant has occurred legally, which is a good thing. I've worked on numerous projects where legal review is required with Joe and Colin. And one of those I'll talk about in more detail later because Dave Cannon's going to talk about it. That's the Windermere Heights Plan of Lots Revised. They revised the plan drawings, which I just gave my legal stamp of approval to tonight. and then Colin reviewed it also, and when Dave reports on that, I can give more detail on that. But other than that, that's all I have to say at this time. Thank you.
Other than the normal agenda items, working on the collective bargaining agreement, of course, the budget. I'd like to start having budget meetings, 6 o'clock every Tuesday until we wrap it up. That's about it.
Let Becky know she's got it. Okay. What's that?
Every Tuesday.
This Tuesday coming up at 6 o'clock.
Do they have to be advertised?
I don't know now. Do they?
Budget meetings,
Yeah.
yes. If you have a quorum, they gotta be advertised.
So we're gonna have to wait till following Tuesday.
We'll have to wait till the following Tuesday.
We're gonna have to wait till the following Tuesday because we can't get anything
Do we have an
advertised until
executive
next week.
session for the first one?
A budget generally doesn't fit within an executive session exception. You know, there could be certain aspects that might fit that exception, but general budget talks have to be held publicly.
All right. What we will do is, we'll get something out by the end of the week. Everything in yellow, everything that's not in yellow is what we are gonna say, this is what it's gonna be. Payrolls, insurances, different things that aren't any discretionary items. The ones that will be in yellow, paving, speed humps, some other things that we talked about, the council will have to fill in the things will be in yellow. So I'll get that to everybody. If somebody wants, I'll email it. If somebody wants a hard copy, let me know. And those will be the things that we can discuss. For instance, we were paving right around $400,000 a year. This year, we paved 150. We had to cut back. What do we want to do next year? How much we want to cut back, how much we don't want to cut back.
Also, Joe, would you put it on our website that we're gonna do that?
Yeah.
Whenever we set them dates, put that on the website so people can see that as well.
The first one will be on the 30th.
You got that?
Okay. Colin?
Really, everything that I've been working on is going to be covered in other people's reports or in agenda items, so unless anyone has any questions for me, that's all I have this month.
Chief Gibb?
President,
Go to public works.
the police department responded
Yeah.
to 576 calls for the month, 26 arrests, 37 citations issued. And speaking with what the mayor was talking about a little bit ago, that picture these all have, the GPS tracker on that particular vehicle, is pretty much indicative of every vehicle we have. They're all through the town, every shift. You know, I don't know where, you know, I'm not familiar with what we're talking about, complaining, but I drive through this town 100 times a day. I pass a police car all over town, all different parts of town, all day long.
They all have trackers on them?
Excuse me?
They all have a GPS tracker?
Most of them, a couple of them are not working. You have to get like a new air card or something. I'm not exactly sure. Mark handles that. But, you know, the mayor was talking about crime watch, getting the crime watch up. We've tried to do that. We had some success a few years back. Not had a lot of input. Not like it was like when Nick ran it back in the day. Nick was very successful. It was one of the premier ones in the county. Times have changed, people have changed. People don't want to know the neighbors, don't want to get involved.
Yeah.
That's a sad state of affairs, but that's kind of what we see. What else did you have on there?
Well, we're talking about the shooting.
The shooting is still under investigation. I cannot comment on that publicly. We are very familiar with the person who was shot. And we've responded to it plenty of times. Like I said, that's an ongoing investigation. I'm not really going to say anything more about that. Do you have any questions for me?
Chief or the mayor, the yellow dots on here, do they signify calls? Or do you know what they are?
I have all the calls.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a call, that would just be a pinpoint where the.
That's where it was.
Okay. So
They're not calls.
every so many seconds, the car will ping wherever it's at.
Yeah.
You know, and we did that initially, it's an officer safety drive, that's what that started as, and it's been very helpful to us.
Pat, is this 24 hours or is it an 8-hour shift, you know?
That's one shift, one car.
8 hour, okay.
Yeah, that's one car. That was M8 yesterday, which is the top of the black top. That was that car yesterday on the 311 shift, I believe.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what shift it was.
So, like I said, that's indicative of every one of our cars. They're, you know, they're all over town.
Is there a question about that Main Street painting thing? You mentioned that, did you ever do anything about that? The guy that painted that yellow line.
Yeah, we did do that.
Did you, the guy that painted the yellow line up on Main Street?
We did.
Yeah.
Borough did.
The borough
Paint
did,
them,
and
paint
then,
them.
yeah, the borough did, and then the borough repainted it black over top.
Right.
It
The
was
reason,
too- it was
the
too
re-
long,
yeah,
too long.
the reason being is there was cars parked into the corner and people couldn't see around the cars.
Right.
So when the way, the color that it was too far. So they painted it yellow and then painted it black to where you could start parking. So they could identify where you could start parking.
Yeah, it was on the business side, it was the borough.
Yeah.
All right, Eddie, before I get you, Rich, do you want to say something?
Yeah.
Go ahead. On
Well,
public works.
I know Bicey, Mr. Bicey isn't here tonight, but I wanted to bring something up to his attention. Down at the lower end of Munhall, I know, I guess the police know about it too, about the leaves that are gathering up along the sidewalk. And there's a ton of them everywhere down there.
You can't arrest leaves, Rich.
I know, I'm just saying, what they're doing is they're getting into the sewers, they're blocking the sewers, and they're starting to smell. And it's an awful smell too. I know we went out and cleaned out a couple of sewers last night, and the smell was just terrible. I mean, there's a ton of leaves everywhere down there. I don't know if Bicey can do anything about it.
He can, we'll put it on the list, and I got a couple calls today about the same thing, you know, so we'll let them know. We'll have that truck out tomorrow.
I saw it out today.
Mr. President, one more thing I want to touch on real quick that the mayor brought up. Any major incident that happens in this town, I call him. That's my job.
Correct.
To notify him. So if there's something that goes on in this town that I think he should be made aware of, he gets a call. 8 in the morning, 3 at night, anytime in between, happens all day. Did with Mayor Bodner, does with Mayor Brennan, the same when Ron was mayor.
As do I.
Right, that's just the way it is. So.
Hey, Mayor, I'd appreciate that. So,
Yeah, I mean, that's just the
like
standard
so,
protocol.
so,
That's it, thank you.
all right.
Yes, sir.
Eddie?
Sorry, council, I forgot tonight was the council meeting, so I forgot to get your report. We had 35 calls in October. The structure fire, and I'll just kind of answer what some of your questions. And I want to make sure, but every once in a while I like to cover this again too. So when there's a fire in Munhall, we have an automatic line card that's dispatched. So any fire in Munhall, you will get the Munhall Fire Service. And this is not a car fire, not a brush fire, but we get all the Munhall fire companies to every fire in Munhall. If it's what we call a working fire, there's smoke showing. That automatically adds Homestead to the run card for the rapid intervention team. They're not fighting the fire, they're there to protect us, a rapid intervention team. So if it's a larger building, like the Met House or the school or something like that, and there's smoke or flame seen, the run card automatically adds Homeville, West Mifflin number 3, and West Homestead. Automatic, because it's a larger building, there's a lot more to do. It's automatic. That's pretty standard throughout the valley as far as the run cards go. That particular fire, we did have mutual aid there. Homestead was there at that call for the RIT team, and they were understaffed because most of their company was out of town fighting a fire and out of town. The run card automatically redispatches the next available RIT team. That's a team of firemen that are specially trained to go in and rescue firefighters, right? Not every fire company in the valley does that. Number 4 does that, Homestead does that, Pleasant Hills does that, blah, 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 there's a couple. So that was automatically Edgewood.
I knew there was a.
Homestead didn't have enough people to handle that job, so the run card automatically dispatches Edgewood. So Homestead comes up with a couple guys on a truck, and then Edgewood comes in, and together they made a nice big crew for a rig, not fighting the fire. They all come in fire trucks, which is where all the equipment is. That's why you see extra fire trucks. And there was a glitch in the system, which somebody may have seen Braddock here, although they are on a run card, not for the park, end of Munhall, but the run card did something stupid. Now, on the backside of that, you don't see, whenever the Munhall fire companies are all engaged, we fill the stations with other stations. Now, the Braddock dispatch should have been West Homestead. But anyways, West Homestead and West Mifflin went on standby to cover our borough while we were out fighting a fire. That's pretty standard. All the communities do that. We cover for Homestead, West Mifflin all the time. They do for us. So just because we're fighting a fire, Munhall Borough still does have fire protection. That's the way it works, and it's pretty good. So 3 engines, a ladder truck, the telesquirt, plus the support vehicles that were there from the other towns. Looks like there's a lot of trucks there, but we do have to come with the fire truck because that's where all our stuff is, right? So at that particular fire, there were a couple injuries. Dan Royce was the first on scene there. He's our battalion chief from up at number 4, Station 203. He got a little burn on his arm, and the homeowner, but they got those burns rescuing a puppy from the house. So special thanks to Lori Corside, who's a fireman up at number 4, who took that puppy. They took it out to the vets, and then she babysat it for a couple of weeks, and it's coming along just fine. So that being said, this happens all the time. Our communities work together. We have run cards, and we have mutual aid agreements and all that stuff. I see it with the police all the time, and I saw it with the police department the other day. We had a fire in Homestead where we went and helped them, and Sergeant Smalley did while we were getting set up, Dave had already told me where the fire was, what was burning, and they found it driving around. I don't know, 9 o'clock at night. And in the meantime, we're laying lines. Dave grabbed the line, and while he was waiting for us to get packed up, he squirted down the house next door. If it wasn't for Sergeant Smalley, the house next door would have caught on fire. So mutual aid and assisting each other is something we do all the time. So that being said, there were no firefighter injuries that were reportable in the month of November, and that's really the only stat that I care about. I care about everything, but that's one of my most important stats. And does anybody have any questions for the fire department?
I just want to thank you, Chief, for that. You guys should be commended.
Thank you, and it's my pleasure.
The other thing is, I told Mark, what you do, the banners are there, next you know they're gone. I mean.
I wish.
No, they?
That's how quick it was on to me.
Well, they went down a lot easy this time. Taking them down is simple. Putting them up is a pain in the ass. So when we beg for help, we need the help when we put them up. And it takes all day to put them up. It takes 8 o'clock in the morning, and we get down around 4 or 5 o'clock. It's usually nicer weather, but they go up. So anybody, even if you can't walk or whatever, somebody will find something easy for you to do. So we appreciate that help. But we're going to be putting up the snowflakes here in about a week or so. So they're going to go up on Main Street. Dawn Lester takes care of that, puts those up, but we put them up. But the Main Street banners and all that stuff for the Veterans Committee, they came down, we were done, 3-4 hours we were done.
But it's amazing how quick they go.
Yeah, they're a lot easier taking down than they are putting up, that's for sure.
Did you have a lot of volunteers, more volunteers?
We had a good bit.
Yeah.
And I
It
would
was a
say,
lot colder spring, everybody wanted to get it done, I imagine. It was pretty cold Saturday.
yeah, it was a bit chilly, but yeah, it went pretty smooth. We got down to science, we just need more scientists.
Yeah, and I want to commend your fire department too, and everything you've done, and, like Lori Corsi, how she stepped it up and is taking care of that guy's dog, and Munhall's really came through for this guy. There's been fundraisers, GoFundMe's, and the veterinarian bills for that dog alone are probably going to be
Tons of money.
$25,000. Because he has 4 burnt pads, all pads, and he has.
I had pictures for that vet one time, and it cost me $10,000, so.
So you know what it costs, I may be underestimating, maybe 25,000.
Well, the dog's in Ohio.
But they went to Ohio State, and the dog's gonna be at this veterinary clinic in Ohio, on the Ohio State campus for at least another week. And then it may come back to Lori again, and the owner of the dog.
People don't understand that just because your skin isn't dripping off and you were burned, that lung burns are extremely serious. You don't even know that your lungs are burned half the time, but those injuries can be very, very serious and eventually lead to fatal, so, on humans and dogs.
But I know they had a fundraiser, and I think the fundraiser at Fox's raised between $5,000 and $6,000.
That was jam packed.
And I've been watching the GoFundMe's, and they're, $12,000, $15,000. So
That's our time.
Munhall came through and helped this
Oh, yeah.
guy and his dog, which was really in need.
It was a homestead farm.
Homestead.
He was eating lunch in Fox's when the call came in.
Yeah,
It was
he heard the call,
dispatched. He heard his
ran
address.
Ran in and got his dog out.
I'm not laughing. Boomer.
You have a copy of my report. The other thing that Greg mentioned earlier, on the planning board meeting was Tuesday night. They approved Jesse King's Windermere Heights subdivision plan. He actually was in front of planning for 3 or 4 months, so they voted 5-0 to recommend the subdivision, yes. So I'd like to put a motion on the agenda if we can, Greg, to allow that.
Yeah, and I talked to you about this earlier, so we're probably all familiar with the new law Act 65, which became effective, I think it was August 30th of this year, which requires that any item to be considered by any municipal council has to be listed on the agenda, which has to be advertised on the borough website at least 24 hours before the meeting. And so I know that Joe has been endeavoring to comply with that requirement. There are some limited exceptions when council can still act for something that's not on the agenda, and I'll talk about that. One is an emergency, of course, and we couldn't wait for an advertisement. This is not such a thing. There are also an exception for de minimis actions, particularly such as this, where the council is not spending any money. And the requirement is, and I think it qualifies for that, the applicant in this case has done everything that the commission has asked and that we have asked, and it's been approved legally, it's been approved from an engineering standpoint. I think it qualifies for that. So in order to do that, there has to be a motion by council to amend the agenda, to add this as a motion, and if that motion carries, then it's added as a motion. It has to be read out to allow the public to ask questions and comment on it, and once that is satisfied, then council can act on it and consider it, and if it passes, it has to be posted on the borough website within 24 hours, so it's advertised to the public that a motion is out. So this would meet one of those narrow exceptions if council is so inclined. That's my ruling opinion on that.
Could somebody make a motion now, Greg?
Yeah, you can do it now. You can make the motion now and then let the public address it, and then council can vote on it, and then it has to be posted. So you can do it now.
I'll make the motion, we amend the agenda to add this.
Second.
Second by Willis. All in favor?
Aye.
No question, sorry, go ahead, Lon. Question on motion.
Yeah, where exactly is Windermere Heights for everybody in here, if they don't know where it's located?
Behind Wood Hill and the dead end of Superior Street.
And how many lots does this pertain to?
6 or 7? It's a lot consolidation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all undeveloped land at this point.
No, I understand that, but
You can look at the drawing they
do we
submitted.
have a copy of the drawing?
Yeah.
Can I take a peek at it?
Yep.
Only a peek.
Just a peek, not long.
I gotta get a cell phone so I can take a shot of it.
Nice to see you, Don.
It's nice to see you, thank you.
It looks like it's these lots. This is its own separate lot. This is its own separate lot. He's making this one parcel.
So he's making all this one part?
Yeah.
So instead of being these lots, they're just gonna be one lot then?
This is all gonna be one lot, and prior to this revision, this is actually an older copy of the plan. We denied it because it landlocked this parcel, and now he's provided a 50-foot permanent easement through here to access that.
And that's for...
He also added these back property, or back These that you see here are being added onto these existing lots along the way.
We sold those.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I'll give you,
If there's no other public comment, then Becky, you and I talked about the motion, and you would read that when we get to the part of the meeting. Thank you.
Now?
No.
No, we get
Which
to,
is-
Okay.
when we get to public,
Okay.
when we get to agenda. Anything else?
one last one.
Sure. Finance Chair.
Yes, Mr. President, so for the month of October, we had deposits in the amount of $330,532.72. Withdrawals in the amount of $1,255,805.17, so approximately $900,000 to the negative. To be expected, October is the last month that anybody can pay their taxes, so of course taxes are going to start dwindling as the month expires, and this is to be expected. For the month of October, year-to-date, we are up approximately $85,000 from 2020, so we are still in the black for the year, and total funds in all of our accounts at the end of October was $1,022,201.33.
Okay.
Need a motion to accept that report?
Okay, public comments on agenda items. Agenda items only. Donna, welcome back.
Thank you. Well, thank you. Motion 2.
You.
How many officers are eligible for this?
2.
2? And is the money in the budget? Do we know what it's going to cost if they do decide to take it?
It would be a savings.
It would be a savings, but what is the health care going to cost per year?
Approximately $25,000 for a family, 18 for, and the way it was going to be structured, 2 years for the family, 2 years for the husband and wife, and 2 years for the individual. If they want to purchase Cobra for the whole family, it would be on them. And yeah, it's a savings of about $250,000 a year.
Okay, well, that was my next question, if it was just going to be for individual or if it was going to be for family. Motion 3, what are we looking for the amount for the TAM?
$1 million, $1.25 million. $1,250,000.
Is that what we've normally been
We
taking?
normally do $1 million.
Okay. Do we know what any interest going to be paid back?
1.6%.
1.6? You must have knew I was coming, didn't you?
Like Rain Man.
Thank you. Motion 4. The Keystone Recreation Park and Conservation Fund Library Construction Grant. How much is this?
I'm not sure what this grant is. This is a library grant. Nothing has to do with the borough other than supporting it. And this resolution only allows, we're designating myself as an authorized signer for that.
And this is the name of the grant?
That's the name of the grant.
And who's writing the grant?
Commonwealth Consultants.
Okay.
As their client for the library, not for the borough.
Okay, does the borough still have a grant writer?
Correct.
Okay. And who's the grant writer?
Commonwealth Consultants.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You skipped number 1.
Okay, can you explain that number 1 for me then? Somebody brought it up?
Yes, we got a $1 million RCAP grant. One part of the compliance is to accept the change orders of our whole project. We had $115,668.76 in change orders, which is, smoking me on how you did that. I mean, that was a great job. They expected between 10 and 20% contingency. This came in less than 2%. So we just have to approve the change orders.
that we did.
With that, does that include the paving that we have to do over there?
No.
No. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Anybody else? Yep. Okay, Beck. You want to do that first one with
Yeah,
Greg did?
yeah, sure.
Can you get it over with?
Absolutely. Motion to approve Jesse King's Windermere Heights subdivision on the recommendation of planning commission.
Need a motion?
Motion.
Second. Second by Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Go ahead, Beck.
Motion to approve change order to contract 2020-1 at 1860 West Street in the amount of $115,668.76.
Need a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Jason,
Second.
second by Mark. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, go ahead, Beck.
Motion to authorize Solicitor Vashvik to draft an ordinance offering eligible police officers a retirement with a maximum of 6 years health, dental, and vision benefits.
Need a motion?
Motion.
Question. This is just for these officers, right?
Just for the two, at this time, there'll be an ordinance that'll be passed for the two, not continuous.
Okay, good.
Got one motion, need a second.
Second.
Second by Mark. Questions? Oh, we had one.
How long is this opened up for? They expect to be retired by the end of the year, Joe?
Yes.
We have one for 30 days or
We
something?
have to, yeah, and sorry to interrupt, but we have to decide, so I started outlining this today, I'm gonna get this done as soon as I can. So these ordinances like this is a special incentive, and we've done these before here, for both the police and the non-uniform. And a lot of times you're actually changing the pension plan, which we're not doing. That's why this does not require an actuarial study, because this is gonna be funded not by the pension plan, but be funded by the borough fund. So, and it'll be whoever's eligible, what the eligibility requirements will be, are those officers that are eligible for normal retirement now, which I understand is only 2. They're gonna have a window of time to elect this, and they have to elect it within that window, and they can pick a date, it'll be their official retirement date, and they have to sign a form, this is permanent, it's irrevocable, and once they do that, then they'll be entitled to benefits. It's a one-time only deal.
So do we have to put that in the motion, like a 30-day window?
No, because this is gonna be done as an ordinance, it'll have to be advertised, then we'll have a whole public hearing. So the ordinance will be sent, I'll draft the ordinance.
That'll be the next part.
That's the next part. This is just to start it, right. All those details will be open for your review later, comment, approval. Once council's satisfied, we advertise, and then bring it to the public in the public hearing. This is step 1.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, go ahead, Beck.
Motion to authorize borough manager to start the process on tax anticipation note with Brentwood Bank.
Need a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Rich,
Second.
second by Rob. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to pass resolution 2021-12 authorizing the founding of Keystone Recreation Park and Conservation Fund Library Construction Grant.
Motion.
Motion by Rob,
Second.
second by Mark. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, go ahead, Beck.
Motion to pay bills for the period of October 13th through November 9th, 2021, summarized as follows: $819,184.85.
You gotta pay the bills. Need a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Rich,
Second.
second by Jason. Questions? No questions.
So miscellaneous, what was that? Some of those numbers, Joe.
I'd have to get that back.
They're here. Miscellaneous included the new building construction payments and, one second.
Down here.
Tell me what's wrong? Oh, right, includes new bed, yeah, okay, it's on there. I'm sorry.
No, that's
I
okay.
need to read ahead.
Question, $5,000 for recreation.
$1,663 for utilities, $2,000 for the Halloween. Westfield expenses, $1,233.62. and Westfield Utilities, $278.
Thanks, man.
Motion and second, right? Yep. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. Okay.
Motion to approve payroll for the period of October 28th and November 10th in the total amount of $458,557.26.
Need a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Jason,
Second.
second by Rich. Questions? All was in favor? Huh?
Every year for as long as I've been here.
Do you have a question?
Oh.
I didn't think you would. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, here we go. Before we go ahead.
Yeah, Mayor, you have another thing to announce probably, I think.
I do.
December,
I do. So Light Up Night is going to be December 3rd, is that right?
Yes.
So I did announce that at the last workshop, it is December 3rd at 6 o'clock. Also, I just wanted to make a comment on the Halloween parade was a big success. I was glad to see all the kids back on the street, and it was done very well. Number 4 Fire Hall played a big part in that. Lori Corside did a great job getting that all together. Thank you.
One meeting? Go ahead.
That's all. Bye.
Yes, sir.
Is there any reason why Mr. Bicey doesn't come to the meetings anymore?
Yes, Mr. Pike, I don't know.
Oh, because I don't even see his.
I don't know. It's not like we threw him out here.
Wait, no, no, go.
Maybe, yeah, maybe, I don't, honest, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's definitely been a while.
Yeah.
I got that.
Okay, anything, Mark? Robbie?
no?
Rich?
No.
If you, Rich? Kevin? Happy Thanksgiving, and,
Any word when we're gonna move into the new borough building? Are we gonna do that next meeting? Next month?
I was talking to Colin about that, talked to you about that. That's would be the game plan, at minimal, have the last meeting of the year, hopefully last 2 over there.
Okay.
We're ready, we can get an occupancy permit.
Close.
Boomer and I were just talking about the occupancy permit. All the utilities are hooked up. Really, sprinkler stuff is still underway. It's good. It's passed. It's done approved today. Good.
Furniture's in there, the window coverings are in there, so.
but, yeah, I agree.
Final
We
sign-offs.
told August 1st, and then it moved to September or something.
Well,
You know,
the reason why.
Didn't know it's November.
We had,
We never said what year, I know, it's obvious.
but we had instances where, I hate the pandemic, or if we were having trouble getting a pump for
The grinder pump.
pump.
It took a lot longer than expected. There was, obviously, everyone's felt supply chain issues, inflation, list goes on. All in all, things went pretty well. We're there now. It's only a matter of time before we get occupancy permit. We're gonna start talking to everyone, finish up our punch list. There's some odds and ends that still need to be done, but it's looking good.
Good. Okay. That's it, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
I need a second.
Second.
There you go, thank you. Happy